Hi, and welcome to our next level 3 trigonometry video. We're turning our attention to trigonometric equations. Right, straight into example 1. We're going to solve this equation. Sine x is equal to 0.8. And inside these brackets we can see that x has to be between 0 and 2 pi, which means we're trying to find solutions where x is between 0 and 2 pi radians. We'll come back to that soon and talk a bit more about that. Right, well here's the sine x graph. We know it's got an amplitude of 1 and there's no horizontal changes or vertical changes or anything else happening to it. It's got a period of 2 pi. Right, this line here represents 0.8 and we want to know when the sine graph is equal to 0.8, which happens at all these points here. There's heaps of them. And if I continued the graph on in both directions in the negative and positive, would find even more solutions. There's an infinite amount of solutions. But we're interested in finding all the solutions between x being 0 to 2 pi, which means we're interested in this region of the graph when x is 0 to 2 pi, so we can only find 2 solutions in that region. There's only going to be 2. All right, here's how we do it. To solve sine x is equal to 0.8, we need to take the inverse sine of 0.8. To do that, we grab our calculator. Please make sure your calculator is set up in radians, and we go shift sine to get sine -1, go bracket -0.8, and you'll get the solution of 0.927295218. If you were working in degrees, you would have got 53.1 degrees. So if your calculator was set up in degrees, you'd get 53.1 degrees as your solution. So we can write down here a solution x is equal to 0.9273 radians, and I've rounded that to 4 significant figures. Or if you're working in degrees, because the question was asked you to find between 0 and 360 degrees, your solution would be 53.1 degrees. Now, we're told we're working in radians, so we don't need to worry about the degrees. This solution here represents the solution we've found, but there is another solution we've got to find. Now, to find the second solution, we need to use a little bit of the symmetrical properties of the graph. The distance between 0 and our first solution is going to be the same as the distance from pi back to our second solution. So, to work out our second solution, we need to just take pi and subtract 0.9273, and that gives us our second solution of 2.214, or if you're working in degrees, 180 minus 53.1 to get our second solution. So we're going to write down our 2 solutions. We're working in radians, so I'm not worried about the degrees anymore. And our first solution is 0.9273 radians, and our second solution is 2.214 radians. Right, let's try another one. Solve cosine x is equal to -0.5 between the x values of negative pi and positive pi. Here's our cosine graph. Here is the value of -0.5. We need to know when the cosine graph is equal to -0.5. Well, here are all the possible solutions, but we're interested in this region when x is between negative pi and positive pi. So once again, there's only 2 solutions we're going to find. Right, cosine x is equal to -0.5. Let's take the inverse cosine of -0.5. Grab my calculator. I'm working in radians, so set your calculator up in radians to get my first solution of 2.094 radians, which I've rounded to 4 significant figures. That's the solution here. Now in this example, can you see that the second solution is just symmetrical? It's the same distance from 0 on either side. So we can say our first solution is 2.094 radians and our second solution is -2.094 radians. Awesome, thanks for watching.